afternoon and welcome to Behind the Hustle. We have had some technical difficulties today, so we haven't been able to do this live. We've finally managed to get onto Teams. It's only taken us 48 minutes, but we are now recording on Teams, and this is going to be sent out later today, maybe tomorrow, depending how things go with the technology. So this is the first Behind the Hustle, and it was a brainwave on Saturday morning that I was like, what about if I did little chats with all the small business owners I know and talk about what led them to creating their small business and what makes them tick, etc. So I'm excited to kick off this new series and dive into all the inspiring stories. And my first guest today is Kallia Papadopoulos. Have I got that right? Brilliant, thank you. The Chief Reading Empowerment Champion at the Reading Empowerment Hub. Kallia's mission is to ignite and sustain a lifelong passion for reading among adults and children. At the Reading Empowerment Hub, she highlights the transformative impact that reading has on mental health and personal growth. Let's bring her on. Hi, Kallia.
Good afternoon, Emma. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm still a little bit stressed. I'm a little bit red and hot, but we're getting there.
We're live.
We are, well, kind of pre-recorded, but all the best shows are. Thank you for joining me today, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about your work at the Reading Empowerment Hub. So shall we just dive straight into it, because I know I did say 3:00 and we are now at 10 to 4, and I know you're a little bit pushed for time. So tell me all about your business. What inspired you to start it, and how did you get started?
I'm going to start with a story. And it's the very first time I ever visited a library. And that was a school library, a junior school, when I was about 7. And that's imprinted on my mind. I remember going through the wooden doors. It was an old Victorian building, my school. And I remember opening the door and looking at the books for the first time.
Yeah. And
I remember going, oh, like a treasure trove.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I'm determined to read all the books in the library.
You're a real life Matilda.
Do you know what? I've got a story about Matilda, actually. And I just love reading. What can I say? It was just those books. And I also remember my sister, who's 7 years older than me, enjoying reading Agatha Christie. Oh. And I was about 7. She was 14. I thought, who's this Agatha Christie? But I never took much notice until when I got a little bit older, when I was about 15. And I read one of her books and I thought, Queen of Crime. And that's how it all came about. And it was all through family, really, Emma.
Yeah.
My cousin, who's now a teacher, we love books as well. So we used to get together. We were living in the next road to each other. And we used to have chats every week about George's Marvellous Medicine and how we would concoct it. And we were thinking that to get in trouble. And we did try to do it once, but didn't turn out.
No, probably not a good idea.
But do you see, what I'm saying is that love of reading that I had, that connection I made with my cousin and my sister, and it stayed with me.
That's brilliant. That's great. It's something from childhood and it's just grown with you. So what is the mission of your business? What are the values or goals that drive your work?
So my mission is to instill a love of reading in adults and children. I was a teaching assistant for 15 years and I coordinated reading intervention groups with children from the ages of 7 to 11, junior school in East London. And they found reading challenging, and I wanted to get them to love reading, to enjoy it, not just see it as something that they had to do. And I wanted to instill that love. So with my group, I got them to choose their books. I didn't choose them. I let them make the choices.
Yeah.
That is key. I want to do the same for adults as well, Emma, because I know how good it makes me feel.
Yeah.
I can make other people feel good. And it's just about finding that book or that subject that people are interested in and making those connections. Because when you connect with a reader, like I've done with book clubs, online and face-to-face, and I'm going to be honest, I prefer the face-to-face, but that's just me. And I love the connections and the conversations.
Yeah.
So many conversations that I thought I've got to do something that lets me follow my passion.
Yeah.
And that's my mission. And the values are just instilling and that love of reading in people and giving them the opportunity. And I also do that because I've got a blog now. I've started a blog, which is on the website, but is on social media as well, on a Facebook page. Voices from the Book Den. And it's the first time I've ever come up with a title, first time.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure that we link all of those.
I couldn't believe it. First time I came up with a title and I didn't have to change it.
It's meant to be.
So I've got a whole load of books here. And I've joined the local library, which I'm very happy about. I'm very passionate about libraries as well. As I told you, that's when my love of reading came about all those years ago. So I want to instill that love because I know how much it can benefit everyone.
Brilliant. Perfect. So what has been the biggest challenge you've faced as a business owner and how did you overcome it?
Well, my biggest challenge actually is not directly related to the Empowerment Hub, but it makes sense when I explain it. I wanted to do something because I knew I could do something, but I wasn't quite sure. Mm-hmm. And I started back in 2020 when COVID hit. I decided I wanted to become an Usborne book organiser, where you could share your love of reading through books and do events.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to manage that because I love books.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Because I can't sell to save my life. What can I say? I'm going to be here, guys. It was a book I couldn't sell, and I got very upset because I thought, what are books? How can I not do this? And the challenge was, I was the challenge. It was my mindset.
Right.
You know, we have blocks in our roads from time to time, don't we, in our path?
Yeah.
But they don't teach us a lesson to move forward.
Yeah.
But I didn't see that. So I was my own worst enemy, thinking, well, if that's not going to work out, nothing will.
Yeah. You've got to have a positive mindset, especially when you're running a small business, because you are going to get knockbacks, you are going to have hurdles and, boulders in the road and things. You've got to keep being positive and remember that the universe is aligning everything for a reason.
That is exactly it for me. I've always been a great believer. I'm saying this to everyone who's listening and watching. I'm not saying everyone is, and that's fine. Everyone, each their own. Different strokes for different folks. But for me, that's exactly how I look at things. Have done for many years now. Yeah. So obviously it didn't work out because there was another reason.
Yeah.
That's it, okay. So I then went on to create craft boxes for children. Because when I was a teaching assistant, I organised craft afternoons.
Oh, lovely.
It didn't work out. And then I thought, and it's really that interesting that we've come together because I decided I'm really organised, Emma. Yeah. I am to a T. I hate disorganisation. I like everything in order. Everything has a file. Everything has its place. I thought, I'll try being a virtual assistant.
Okay.
I don't know before.
No, I didn't know that.
And then that didn't quite work out. That was about 4 months ago. So I decided I'm going to say it how it is, pack it all in.
Yeah.
It's done now. I really am done. I've walked away from everything because I can't do this anymore. Because obviously there's something wrong with me. This is what I thought. I thought, I'm not good at anything, am I? But I took a month away from it all. And then I don't know how this came about with the Reading Empowerment Hub. I think it must have been that I just decided to let it all go and just walk away. And it trips to walk away from something you wanted to do. It really does.
Yeah.
So my message to everyone is, please don't give up. You just got to give yourself a break. Sometimes it's easy, it's best to walk away, as hard as that is. So I did. And that's how the Reading Empowerment was born, because I'm also a care professional, by the way, for older people with dementia and Alzheimer's, and have been for 4 years.
How interesting.
And really, I should thank all my clients, bless their hearts.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there thinking, reading gives me solace, because sometimes I have very challenging clients. They do their conditions. And I thought there must be caregivers out there that love reading as much as me.
Yeah.
So I set about it, and I've got a group called Carers, Caregivers Reading Community, which is part of the Reading Empowerment Hub.
Amazing.
Who are carers, paid or unpaid as well. We're all carers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm loving that group, and that's how everything and why I'm talking to you today has all come about.
Yeah, well, that's a good support group, because I can imagine doing that kind of work, it can really take its toll on you mentally. And, you know, you've got a hub there now of people that know exactly what you're going through if you've had a bad time at work or whatever, and you've got those people to lean on, and you've got a shared interest as well, because you can just escape into a book and share those books with each other, and just, you know, put whatever's gone on that day to the back of your mind. I know it's not the easiest thing, especially with what you're doing, but do you know what I mean? It balances out your mental health, doesn't it?
And it creates resilience.
Yeah.
And a tough skin.
Yeah.
Which I equate to resilience at times, because the clients that I have don't often realise what they're doing.
No, of course.
And it's not personal, and I learned that the hard way. But do you know what? I look at things differently now. And that's how it all became about. Emma,
That's
really
fantastic.
I'm thinking I've got to do something. What can I do? And I just thought, try this, and that worked out. And I thought, okay, well, what about this then? And then everything started happening.
Yeah.
And I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased.
Oh, that's good. So that was the memorable success story we were on there. So how do you differentiate your business from others in your industry? What makes your products and services unique? Which we've kind of touched on in a little bit of a way, but if you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah. So what makes it unique is it's very personal.
It
comes from a personal point, from my own experiences. It doesn't come from a professional experience, which I think differentiates it. It comes from my love of reading, having gone through tough times personally, professionally, and how reading has brought me back.
Yeah.
Because when times are tough, even now, because we all have tough days, it's not as if we're perfect, and we never will be. I do turn to books, and that focus takes that annoyance that I've gone through, and I think, I feel better now.
Yeah, definitely. So we kind of touched on this, but what advice would you give to someone looking to start their own business? And are there any lessons that you've learned that you'd like to share, which you kind of have already answered that?
I'll tell you what, the first thing is please write down your plan.
Yeah.
Don't keep it up here like me. Come on. Record it, write it, whatever you want to do, like a dictaphone or whatever it is, because I'm going back years, aren't I now? But record it. Please record.
Yeah.
Please don't rush. Small steps every day. You know, time will wait. It's not a race. And surround yourself with positive people. People call it a tribe. People call it a circle. That will be your champions and your cheerleaders. Because with that, you can achieve anything. Because there may be a time when you're not feeling that great. Like today, Emma, we had the techno gremlins on our... But did we give up? No, we didn't.
No, we're still here. We're still doing our chat, and it's still going to be posted all over the socials. So many people are interested as well, and I was like, oh my goodness.
A little bump in the road, which is a lesson. You know, things may not always work out the way we want them to, but we get there in the end.
And when I go back to my list of everyone that wants to do it and see that it's gone down by about 40 she's not very professional. It's one of those, isn't it?
But please read your ideas, your plans, your goals. It's the best you'll ever do.
So what role does your local community play in your business? How do you engage with and give back to the community? Again, we've kind of touched on that, because obviously with the caring community.
I haven't. That's a work in progress. That's actually my next level up now. Yeah. That's what I need to do. I need to go up the level and expand in the community, because that's one of my dreams. I like face-to-face, I like community work, and that's something that I'm going to be working on in the next few months. I'll just give you a little idea here. Could you set up events in local libraries? I could do. That's something I could look into. They're very active, the libraries in around here. They're actually doing a lot for children over the summer with reading challenges. So, you know, the library that I attend, as small as it is, it's still very active. Yeah. Which actually means you don't need a central library, because they won't. You know, they're closing a few libraries, but they're closing the small, not the centrals. So that's something I could look into, because I do love a library.
Yeah, I mean, more for like maybe for adults, sort of outside of the school holidays, because obviously the school holidays, you're probably going to have a lot of kids in there. But maybe if you had something for adults, some sort of event, you know, maybe aimed at the retired community, or do you know what I mean? Maybe because the libraries will love that you're getting people through the door, and obviously it's, you know, your posters up with this event's happening is going to get you lots more people kind of coming to you as well.
Need that to add that to the list. Thank you.
Sorry. free advice there.
I
come up with these random ideas, and it's like
I like random ideas. They're the best ideas, in my opinion.
Well, this whole thing was a random idea as soon as I woke up Saturday morning.
On a Saturday morning, and you think, well, it goes to show sometimes these sparks of inspiration.
Exactly. Definitely. So how do you see your business evolving in the next few years? What are your plans for growth or new projects? Again, you're going to get in the libraries and you're going to start your events.
But before that, there's something coming up.
Oh, I know what you're on about. I've seen your website.
Well, what can I say? When was it? The beginning of July. You know, I like to tell a story. You know, I'm a reader, right? I'll make it quick, though. At the beginning of July, I was on Mums in Business International, which is an amazing...
Can we just shout out Leona Burton, because the universe aligned that morning, because I had my idea and then she said, I'm not putting any admin things on today. So I was like, right, I'm going to post this idea, and whoop, everyone took off.
I will shout her out to the horses, because she's the one that's always believed in me.
Brilliant.
So this is for you, Leona. A lovely lady called Cassie Swift posted, and she was asking for people if they wanted to be a guest speaker in a Children's Mental Health Matters Summit in September. So I emailed her and I said, what do you think, Cassie? Told her all my experiences. Do you think I could do it? She said, of course you could. So I am one of the guest speakers, one of 55 from around the globe, including Australia and New Zealand. We were all on a Zoom last week. I was very excited when we all connected. I love connecting with people around the world. And I will be speaking about the positive benefits that reading has on children's mental health.
Fantastic.
I'm very excited.
I feel really proud of you.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's really kind of you to share that with me. That's the first talk I'm giving, and I believe there'll be many, many more to come. That would be a virtual event, by the way.
Okay.
We're really pleased, and Cassie was over the moon that it's been accredited by the Association of Psychotherapists, and like really it's been given the stamp of approval.
Yeah. Which
is really great. I'm really excited to be able to share my knowledge and expertise.
So when you're a famous speaker, you remember where you started out, okay?
I'll be calling on your services, Emma. What you
when you need VA services.
Yeah, that's it. You can organise me.
Technical, probably best not call me.
But you know, you could organise events. You could organise my diary. You do diary management, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You could travel, because I've got big plans. I'm gonna. I don't know. You know when you get really excited and your brain just goes firing off on all cylinders, right?
Happens quite a lot.
New York. You could travel to New York with me. I've got all
that'd be nice.
Dream big. Why not?
Exactly. Dream big and aim for the stars. So where were we at next? So we've talked about how you're going to be evolving. So what's one thing you wish more people knew about your business? And is there any misconceptions or hidden gems that you'd like to highlight?
There is a misconception that reading isn't boring.
No, it's not.
It's not boring. Sorry to all the naysayers out there. You say it's boring. It's because you haven't found the right material.
I was about to say, you haven't read the right book if you think it's boring.
I'm sorry. That is a misconception, the biggest one, because reading isn't boring. In fact, it's incredibly interesting. And a misconception is, another one is that educators, and when I say educators, I'm including teachers and teaching assistants in all of this, that they don't, Yes, we do want to help, but teachers are bogged down by all the red tape. A teaching assistant can only do so much. And I know there's a lot of kids out there that just don't like reading. And that's hard. And they say it's boring. And it's a little bit more challenging when a child's saying it to you.
Yeah.
And parents, of course, and carers are under pressure. So I'm going to be honest, I haven't quite come up with an idea, but I really would like to support parents who find it challenging in getting their children to read.
Yeah.
And because teachers really are under the enormous amount of pressure to fill in all the gaps and tick all the boxes. You know how it is.
Yeah.
So I just want to find a way for them to get to figure out that reading is enjoyable.
I think it starts at a young age as well. I mean, I've got my little boy 3 there. He's only 5 months old, but I'm already thinking about all the books that I want to sit and read to him and do all the silly voices and things like that. Because if you start at that age and you get them to love those stories, as they get older, they're going to love reading with their parent, carer, guardian, whoever it is that's reading with them, and it becomes that special time together that you're reading with them, and that's helping their reading as well. Even if you're reading to them, it helps them learn when they come to learn through reading. So
like with your son, there's a great book called Going on a Bear Hunt by Michael Rosen.
I love that one.
And you can definitely act that out. Just get him, put wellies on, whatever you need to do. That's all about childhood at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But, you know, when people say to me, and have said to me, Kallia, I've got a 5-6-month-year-old, I want them to get them into books. And I said, you know, the best thing you can do before even starting with the books is do activities with them, right?
Yeah.
So when you're going to a supermarket, when you're talking to them every day, just talk and just give them as much vocabulary as you can.
Oh, I get some funny looks in the shops because I'm having a full-blown conversation with a 5-month-old.
It doesn't matter because your 5-month-year-old will have that bank of words up here. Trust me, if he gets to school, it'll be a different story for him. You know, so I used to say to someone, I'll tell you what you do. Go on a walk with your child to the park and use all your senses. Well, not all of them. Some of them, the taste and that, obviously you wouldn't in a park. But when you're going out into the park, you know, say, what can you see? What can you hear?
Yeah.
And you'll say, oh, look, there's a tree. Like if it's a baby of 5 months. Oh, look at that tree. It's got green leaves. Look at the singing. Okay? And then build on that.
Yeah.
This is the advice I gave to a friend of mine. And I said, also, before school, like 3-4 years old, why don't you talk about baking fairy cakes? And when you go to the supermarket, talk about, can I have a box of eggs? Can I have a bag of sugar? All those words, all those rich words will stay up here.
Yeah.
And when it comes to reading, they will love reading.
Yeah.
Because you're giving them the start in life that they need with that rich vocabulary. So activities like that, Emma, are amazing. They don't even realise they're learning, but they are when they're going to a park or the supermarket. There's a lot of learning in those places.
Yeah. It's making learning not feel like learning. That's the key, isn't it?
And I think when you start that, the rich vocabulary, the reading does follow. Obviously, some people said to me, but what if children have special educational needs? Yes, I see you can adapt. I was actually a senior youth worker, and I created independent living programs. I forgot to mention that, with older people, teenagers. And I adapted. You adapt.
Yeah.
You know, I did summer schemes and Easter schemes and cooking lessons. You can adapt things. You know, it is adaptable for all needs because I believe in inclusion as well.
Yeah. Brilliant. Perfect. So this is nearly at the end of our chat now. So I've got one last question, which I decided to throw in as a bit of a fun one. Because, you know, when you listen to podcasts and things, I don't know if you listen to podcasts, I love them. They've always got that one last question that kind of goes with all the way through the series. So my question to you is, if you could have one celebrity, past or present, endorse your business, who would it be and why?
Do you know what? I was thinking about this all week, thinking, who could be? Who would I love to endorse, be my, shout me out from the rooftops?
Yeah.
And there were so many, but I've narrowed it down to one. Okay, I want Roald Dahl.
Do you know what? That was the name that was in my head.
I love it. Simply love the man. The stories that he created. Matilda, my favourite character, because I feel like I am Matilda. I was talking about him this morning. I visited the Roald Dahl Museum in Buckinghamshire, and I was sharing with my partner how much I loved that visit. And the library in the village was where he got the idea from Matilda from. All the wonderful things he came up with, I tell you.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely amazing. His brain was just power. And I love his stories, and they were of such a different time. Yeah. So if he could shout me out from wherever he is,
I think he will be, wherever he is, I think he'll be cheering you on, getting people reading their books. And he'll be saying, get in that library and get that event sorted.
Yes. I just thought of him and the wonderful time I spent the day at his museum, at Miss Honey's classroom from Matilda, and the cafe Twits. It was hilarious. They had cakes there named after all the different characters, and it was an absolute joy. And
that's brilliant.
To have him on board with me wherever he is, because of the pleasure that I got from reading his books.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that try to be like him. Don't quite get there, but I think you might know who I'm on about. But
yeah, I spoke about that. Yes.
Yeah.
I think they try to emulate others, maybe because they want to have they want to have the recognition. They want to have the same that he had, but
his books will live on and on and on and on.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, they have their own audience as well, though. Yeah. Because their audience is of a younger generation. Yeah. Whereas even now, actually, school-age children do know about Roald Dahl because he's always spoken about. Yeah. So we're widely spoken about as well. So I think the children of my generation will definitely be more inclined to read the Roald Dahl books. Yeah. More so than any other books, actually, because the other books that are similar is, they're different generation, I think, Emma.
See, I always remember my dad reading The Magic Faraway Tree to me when I was a little girl. That used to be my bedtime story. So I still love it now.
Exactly, it still stays with you all these years.
I can still picture, because when I read a book, because I love reading, I don't get to do it as often as I'd like to, but if I go on holiday, I take a book and I make sure I read. And when I read a book, it's like a movie in my mind. So I picture everything that's going on. I don't know if everyone else gets that when they're reading, but I love the movie in my mind. So thinking of The Magic Faraway Tree, I can still remember those images that I created of those characters in my mind from when I was a kid. And another book I'd recommend, the last book I read, unfortunately, was last year on holiday, but a book I'd recommend if anyone's watching is The Satsuma Complex by Bob Mortimer.
Oh, that sounds very...
It's very strange, but it's Bob Mortimer humour. So of Reeves and Mortimer.
Yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah, I like that one up, actually, Emma, because I do like something a little bit different.
Yeah, so what I do is when I've finished a book, I pass it on. So I've passed that one on. But, it was a really good read. I sat there by the pool like that. And then the other half going, are we going now? No, I've got to get to the...
I pay mine forward. I call pay forward. I pass it on. And then they said, what should I do with it? I said, well, pass it on to someone else then. Yeah. Simple as that.
There's no point keeping them on. I mean, unless you're somebody that likes reading them over and over again, fair enough. But to be honest, they end up getting piled up and piled up. And they're better off just sharing it with someone else. Let someone else get the love of it.
Actually, some of my books I've had autographed by an author.
Oh, yeah, but then you wouldn't give those away.
Actually, I visited about 3 years ago the Cheltenham Literary Festival, and I got to meet Victoria Hislop, who I love very much, and she signed my copy. So that is staying where it is. No one's touching that book.
Yeah, no. Well, this has been brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing your story and all your insights with us today. It's been really inspiring to hear about all the incredible work that you're doing at the Reading Empowerment Hub. It's been lovely to talk to you, as we've been doing lots of messaging behind the scenes. If anyone would like to know more about Kallia's work, please do visit her website at readempower.co.uk. I will put all the links up underneath all the posts. Follow the Reading Empowerment Hub on social media, and I will put all those descriptions, obviously, as I said, in all my posts. So next week I will be speaking with, next week I'll be speaking with another fantastic entrepreneur. Hopefully it will be live. If not, we might have to do it this way again. So do be sure to tune in. You won't want to miss it. And if you enjoyed today's chat, please like, share, comment, press all the buttons on whatever you're watching this on. Press the buttons, share, like, follow me, follow Kallia, and I'm sure we will see more about your work in the future. I'll be cheering you on, as I normally do. Yeah, and if anyone wants to be featured, please do send me a message. But I do have a massive list of people to get through, so I will try my best to get through everyone. I might end up making these twice a week, but it depends on the stress of the technology. Thank you for joining us on Behind the Hustle. Again, thank you, Kallia. Good luck with everything. Until next time, keep hustling and supporting small businesses. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.